Hello everyone and welcome to Boosted or Busted episode 15, the series that aims to answer the question, should you level up a toon the old-fashioned way or skip that pain and level with WoW Gold? Before we jump into this week's updates, let me show you a quick preview of the sheet for this week. I spent some time farming some ore and of course getting some herbs along the way. Sadly, Herbalism and Mining just isn't quite what it used to be at the beginning of the expansion. And I don't really see that changing until maybe 8.2 or if a bot ban wave happens. You didn't see me focus on herbalism and mining throughout the series because mostly I enjoy playing the game and just making money while doing that. It's just a personal preference, but at the start of my series you probably would have seen a lot more favorable numbers as far as the herbs and mines. The last few weeks were marked with a few memorable moments for me. I tried to create a warrior on the WoW Classic stress test, only to get locked in a loop of character creation timed out. Although I was initially frustrated like many of you I'm sure, I resolved that leveling to 5 wouldn't give me much information that I didn't already know. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to log in the next day after that initial rush, so I'll have to wait for the next one. I also ran into some technical issues last week, which prevented me from putting out a video. For that reason, you'll see 2 updates as part of this particular week. Okay, so episode 16 is going to be my last episode for the Boosted or Busted series. And in order to wrap up, I'm going to try to take an extra week to tabulate the results. Right now, my plan is to release the episode Sunday, June 16th. It's been a blast putting this series together, and as part of my final analysis, I'm going to be talking about what I feel about leveling versus boosting. As part of this, I'd love to know your thoughts on what you think the best option is given the time you've spent watching my series. Please enter your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, so let's move on to my busted character, how he fared leveling in the past few weeks. Folks, I'm officially 2 bars away from 110, which puts me almost on par with the toon I boosted at the beginning of the series. In order to level, I first grabbed my artifact with Lothex, and then did 5 different Legion invasions. That got me almost 10 levels. I also spent a little bit of time doing bonus objectives when the Legion invasions were happening. From a gold standpoint, during my first week, I sold the Amethyst Band for 2,280 gold, and this Acolyte shirt I bought from a vendor for 1 copper for 1,079 gold. Buying and selling vendor items is always a good gold maker, especially on a new server. This particular item can be bought by Horde or Alliance. I also managed to sell 2 of the panda pets for 2,200 gold. During my second week, I sold a bunch of random mats, but made 8,100 gold on 4 panda pets. In 2 weeks, I made 17,356 gold just posting my items picked up while leveling. I bought 4 bags this week and still sit at 89k on this guy. Once I grind out the last 2 bars, I'll be really happy to have leveled this guy all the way from level 1. Now let's take a look at my boosted toon. For my boosted toon, during the first week I made a lot of raw gold. I decided to run a bunch of dungeons just to go after the raw gold and of course to replenish my pets. During my second week, I didn't do much other than a few gold emissaries, which effectively paid for my daily posting on the AH. All of the gold that I earned on the AH is pretty much passive at this point. It's important because it shows that even just posting and reposting, you can make some pretty good gold. From an AH perspective, the highlights for the first week include these boots for 900 gold and this shield for 1,550 gold. I also sold a jewel crafting design for 9,800 gold, which I was pretty happy with. During my second week, I sold this thoroughly read copy of Nat Peggle's Guide to Extreme Angling. This can be obtained from Dire Mall and sold for 6,649 gold. For those unaware, this unlocks the artifact appearance Corrupted Ashbringer for Paladins. I also sold this torch here for 2,600 gold and a couple sets of bracers for 4,900 gold combined. I also sold 3 pets for about 2k a piece. All in all, I made 53k in 2 weeks, with only reposting. The other thing I'm really excited about is getting together my speed set on my main server. That server is Turalon, and I'm really excited to see what the market is there for transmog once I can farm it really quickly and repost thousands of items. Let's take a few minutes to go over my sheet this week, where I'll be talking mostly about farming ore. So let's start by just taking a look at the sheet again. First off, this was the particular route that I ran. I started out here at the ruins, went down and around basically in a clockwise manner. The red route is an alternate route if you were finding you weren't getting enough over here. But of course, with collecting herbs and mines, I did basically four laps of this particular one, and never seemed to run out of actual herbs and mines. So you can see as I went through, I got, majority of my stuff was the mines itself, but of course I got a very healthy amount of herbs throughout this farm. And you can see basically I have updated all of the different prices on here according to the prices that are on my realm at this point. You can see there's a very heavy saturation of herbs in the auction house right now, and a very healthy amount of mines as well, especially on the monolite side. So basically throughout this I ended up collecting 602 total herbs or mines per hour, and it took me, basically I was getting one every 5.98 seconds for a total gold per hour of about 6304. As per usual, I decided to run it to see if it made a difference if I had been only collecting mines and not the herbs as well. And you can see here on this tab, I ended up with 6267. So it's actually more efficient if you can be gathering both. As we know from previous, I'd also compared the herbing routes. So if we go back to those, you can see that the herbing with mine is 6931, and if you were doing herb only, it is basically the same. Very little difference between the two. So effectively, herbing at this point is still a little bit more profitable, despite the fact that there's so many on the auction house at this point. Fishing still trumps all. You can see at 93.99, but of course herbalism is a little bit better. Now, just a little preview, one of the things I'm going to do in my last episode is I'm going to be looking at disenchanting. And how do I do that since I'm herbalism and mining only? Well, I'm going to be switching one of my professions out, and honestly, although herbing is a little better, I'm probably going to go with mining, just strictly because I am going to build this guy into a blacksmith thereafter. So, if you take a look, what I've done is I've been saving all of my different uncommons, rares, and epics throughout my time doing world quests. You can see here 34 uncommons, 82 rares, and 24 epics. Now, I won't have any, I don't have the tools of the trade, obviously, so I'm going to get a little less materials out of that. But it's a really good way to actually, if you don't know what you're doing when you're leveling your tunes, save everything, because if you're changing your professions afterwards, you can just very easily disenchant those materials. The biggest thing to remember is that it all depends on your server. There are servers right now where the mining and herbing markets are way better than they are on mine. It tends to be if there's a lot of raid teams on a particular server, then that is the place where bots are going to frequent. And in both cases on the servers that I selected, they both had a high concentration of raid teams. So that's something to keep in mind with all of this. Take it as a grain of salt. My numbers reflect my server and my server only. So with that, I guess what we'll do is I'll wait until next week. I'm going to share these disenchanting results with you, just how much gold I get out of that. And I'll also do a little bit of a look at some world quests and how long it would actually take to gather this type of materials. But basically, I've been saving them for quite some time. Until next week, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I really appreciate all of the feedback that I've got on this series, and I am looking forward to wrapping it up. See you next time, and thanks so much for watching.